Hey, good morning, and welcome to Coffee with Colleen. My name is Colleen Hammond. If this is your first time joining us, thanks and welcome. If you think this is a topic that somebody else would be interested in, please like and share this broadcast. If you don't know anything about me, my former life, I was an on-camera meteorologist for the Weather Channel, and I left it all to be a stay-at-home mom. But in the meantime, I took all the skills that I learned and became an executive image consultant. And I work with everyone from stay-at-home moms all the way up to top political candidates that you would know from the news that I can't talk about because I have non-disclosure agreements. So yesterday we were talking about self-forgiveness. And there were a lot of questions and comments about forgiveness in general. So I ditched what was going to be my topic for today and decided that we would talk more about forgiveness because I got a ton of emails about it. So, hey, good morning, Terry. Thanks for checking in this morning. Hey, and today is National Pumpkin Day. I know yesterday you had your, did you have like a pumpkin spice latte or something? So today is actually National Pumpkin Day, so it's the perfect day for it. So, excuse me. Good morning, Francis. I'm wearing my favorite green this morning, so it always makes my eyes look really big. Hey, good morning, Pam. How are you this morning? God bless you as well. Got my comments going. Oh, super excited. Hey, Carrie. I'm super excited because I've been testing out some new abilities and the ability to have you be able to call in and be on the conversation with me live as well. So I won't be able to do that from home. That's down the road. Good morning, Geza. How are you? Yeah, actually, I'm doing pretty good this morning. Had a wonky night last night, but doing better this morning. But in the future, I'll be going up to the local coffee shop. Actually, it's a restaurant, a local restaurant owned by a local family because I like to support the locals. It's called the Wolf's Den. It's owned by the Wolf family. And they have a local diner up in town, and they have high-speed internet. So I will be broadcasting from there. So I'll do Facebook Live, and then I'll do Periscope. But at that point, I'll be able to, because they have fiber, I'll be able to take live conversations and phone calls and that kind of stuff. So I'm very, very, very excited about being able to do that. Thank you, Carrie. And good morning to you as well. This is actually my tea mug that I got from a friend of mine in London that sent it to me. Actually, somebody sent me that's a viewer that does not want to be named. She specifically says she doesn't want to be named, but she sent me a coffee mug, and I will be using that one tomorrow. So thank you, unnamed person who I know who you are. God bless you, and thank you for the coffee mug. I thought that was really cute. She said, for Coffee with Colleen, you need a variety. She goes, you change clothes every day, you need a new coffee mug every day too. So I have a new coffee mug to use tomorrow. So pretty excited about that. Hey, good morning, Catherine. How are you doing today? So did anybody have any comments or questions about yesterday's conversation about self-forgiveness? Because today I want to talk more about forgiveness, because a lot of the questions really did tend to be around forgiveness in general. So I did want to speak about that because it really is a scientific fact that you hold more weight when you don't forgive people. We all want to lose weight. And it's the secret to losing weight that no one tells you. So we'll talk about that. Forgiveness is great for losing weight. You'll ditch 10 pounds. Hey, Michelle, good morning. Oh, you did make it for the live show. I know. It's not as fun to watch it on the recording. It seems to last longer when you watch the recording, but when you watch live, it goes by really quick. And am I freezing up? Because on my computer, I'm freezing over here. So I'm not sure if it's my internet or not. Good morning, Emily. How are you this morning? Lives right down the road from me. We got to get together. I haven't seen you face to face in over a year now, I think. We ran into each other at a homeschooling conference. I think that's the last time I saw you. So, yeah, forgiveness. Because not forgiving, whether we don't forgive ourselves or we don't forget other people, really, who does it hurt? It hurts us. Other people don't know we're mad at them. Other people, well, they might, depending. Other people don't understand that, we're not forgiving them or whatever. Pam says, can I ditch more than 10 pounds? I need to lose 50. To be considered a donor, you have to lose 50 pounds. Are you in Wendy's group? In the Wendy's Warriors? Paula, you can send her the information on that because I know Paula's in the group. Catherine says the broadcast isn't freezing for her, so that's good. So yeah, it has had been about for a year since I've seen Emily. Yeah, it really is a good topic. It's something we can talk about over and over and over again because this forgiveness kind of crops up in our life almost almost daily. For me, I'm a choleric, and I'm prepping all the information for next week's series on the temperaments, and that'll make more sense now. Oh, you're not okay. I'll send you the information, Pam, for Wendy's group. Paula, sending Pam the information for Wendy's Warriors. I don't know if you guys are friends on Facebook. You should be, because if you're not, you should be. Because her daughter needs not a liver, kidney transplant. Liver. You can give her part of her liver. And she needs to lose 50 pounds to be a donor. So good morning, Tom. I saw you sneak in. I am a good choleric, says, yeah, Geza. Cholerics are the best, right? At least we think they are. I know, I was reading when I was teaching a friend of mine about it, and she goes, well, what am I? And I said, well, let me list off some of these characteristics. And so I started reading off the negative side of a choleric, and she goes, oh yeah, that's me. That's me. She goes, those are my best qualities. And the very next sentence in the thing I was reading to her said, and cholerics will think these are their best qualities. So it'll be a lot of fun next week. Because we do temperaments to understand ourselves better, not necessarily, and consequently we end up understanding other people better, so it helps us grow in humility, first of all, but also in charity, because we understand where other people are coming from. So I'm really looking forward to teaching temperaments next week. It is my favorite topic to talk about. But anyway, we're talking more about forgiveness today. And I think it's great because every day there comes an opportunity to forgive people. And it's important to understand, too, that forgive and forget, where did that come from? Because you know what? People say it's biblical. It's not. It's not in the Bible. Let's get that one out of the way right now. Forgive and forget does not appear in the Bible. Now, if we mean, being able to let go of resentment, that's what forgiveness is. Forgiveness is letting go of resentment. Because that type of resentment, when we carry it around, only hurts us. And my sister Sherry has just joined us. We were speaking of resentments, and her and I were having a text conversation, not against each other. Her and I are really close. But we were just texting. I said, oh my gosh, I'm 3 minutes to going live. I got to wrap up this conversation. But carrying around those types of resentments, what do? They take up our time. They take up our conversations. They take up energy. When we think about them and when we speak about them, they release negative hormones and chemicals into our bloodstream. So this lack of forgiveness hurts us. It doesn't hurt the other person that we're angry with. And wouldn't that be a shame? It's in Proverbs. I think it's Proverbs 25:22, if I remember. I looked it up earlier and I forgot to write it down. Morning, sister friends, is my sister Sherry. And I think it's 25:22, where it talks about heaping coals on someone's head when you pray for them. So when you pray for your enemies, when you feed your enemies, when you help your enemies, you're piling coals on top of your heads. And sometimes in forgiveness, that's kind of where, for me, I have to start, because I know, okay, if I pray for this person, it is helping them, it's helping me. And sometimes, that's kind of a bad thing, but that's sometimes where I have to start with people. Emily says that she learned that forgiveness is neither acceptance or forgetting, it's peace for myself. So very, very true. And also what it does is when you choose, because it's a decision, it's not a feeling. Forgiveness is a decision. And when you choose to forgive somebody, in essence, you're saying, I am taking away your ability to hurt me. When you choose to forgive someone, you are no longer allowing them to hurt you. You are taking away their power. And some people, depending on temperament, like a melancholic, will wallow in that victimhood. And we all know people that wallow in victimhood. Hey, good morning, Jocelyn. Thanks for joining us. Did you have your coffee to your smoothie? I'm almost half gone with mine. And my husband's not working from home today, so I can't text him in the next room and ask him to fill up my coffee, unfortunately. So take away other people's ability to hurt you when you forgive them. Hey, good morning, Sarah. That's okay to be late. I understand you have littles. And remembering, too, that, the Our Father tells us right away, forgive us our trespasses And what's the next sentence? As we forgive those who trespass against us. So it's also like a ruler that we are saying to God, the ruler that I use with other people, the level of forgiveness I give to other people, is the level of forgiveness that I say that you should be giving to me. Whoa. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Good morning, Rosemary's here. Paul is out of cream. How about your Kerrygold butter and coconut oil? Coffee's coming, says Jocelyn. Yeah, we were commenting on my blue and white cup earlier. This is from a friend of mine. This is actually for tea. So you let it steep and keeps it warm while it's steeping, especially when you use real leaf tea, because it sometimes takes a little bit longer than like instant tea bags. So, Geza says the picture is frozen. Picture frozen. So, yeah, gosh. That's the thing about being able to see. Paula says she used her Kerrygold butter for cream cheese treats. Yeah, see, this is the only dairy. I can't have dairy. I'm allergic to eggs. I can have eggs like once or twice a week. So anyway, so taking away other people's ability to hurt you is really a nice way to think about forgiveness as well. Because when we think about it and dwell on it, and also recognizing, so I wrote down a bunch of things about, Geza came back to us. Yay, thank you. I wrote down a whole bunch of stuff when I started thinking about forgiveness yesterday, because people kept asking questions, and as I answered them, I kind of, hey, this, I wrote it down. So I have like a page worth of notes. So pardon me as I continue to refer back to them. Because Pam says her sister's Mary is here. Yay. Hey, Brandon, haven't seen you in a couple of days. Glad that you can join us. And Brandon did tell me, Rex, you'll see him as his name is Rex on here. He had an accordion competition this past weekend, and it went pretty well. So kudos to that. And also remembering too, because somebody that emailed me said that the person that they needed to forgive had already died. And so forgiveness and reconciliation aren't the same thing. So remembering that you choose to forgive, but that reconciliation may not be possible. Either they live far away or they passed away, something like that. Good morning, Lori. It's raining in Kansas, she says. I think it's not only available for God, humans can forgive other people. And we really are called upon to forgive. Darren says, forgiveness as a whole, a unity, it can't be divided against itself. We can't choose forgiveness when convenient for us and reject it for when it's inconvenient. Absolutely. It's a day, like I said at the top of the show, it's a daily decision because sometimes you have to forgive somebody that cuts you off on the freeway, for example, or it's not just the huge things, it's little things as well. And as Darren says, it's a unity, it's a whole. You can't pick and choose. It's a constant, ongoing, big process. Hello from Turkey. I like your conversations. Thanks for doing this. Thank you. It looks like said it, and I'm not sure how to say that, but thanks for being here, and thanks for your kind words. It's raining in Missouri, says Patricia. So it seems to be raining. You know what? I looked out the window. It's overcast here in North Texas, and I'm not quite sure what the weather is like today. I know it's a little bit chilly. Geza says, I actually went to a certain person's grave and physically told them aloud over their grave that I forgive him. In saying things out loud is, because when it's caught in our heads, it's different when it's in our head than it is when we verbalize things as well. And that's an important thing to do. It says 10 people have reacted to this video so far. Hey, we got more than 10 people on here. Come on. Let's give some thumbs up. Remind me later to fill you in on the whole Facebook Live thing that the conference ended on Friday. Like confessions, good for the soul. It's good to say it out loud. All right, so forgiveness, of course, begins with a mental decision. You have to decide to forgive somebody. It's not a feeling. And again, feelings are neither right nor wrong. They simply are. They're things. Your feelings can be roadblocks. They can cause chemical reactions within your body. So your feelings are things that exist. They're neither right nor wrong. They simply are, because they're emotions, and emotions are a lot of times guided by our hormones. So remembering that forgiveness is a decision. You need to decide to forgive. Shoshana says forgiveness is course correction. We have an opportunity to reestablish the rules of engagement. I love that. Sometimes it helps when you're trying to forgive someone to look at it from their point of view. And as I constantly say, sometimes there is no answer to the question, why? So when we're trying to look at it from somebody else's point of view, we may not know why. There may not be an answer to that question, but to look at something from someone else's point of view and trying to see where they were coming from. Brandon says, forgiveness comes easy when you pray for the person who injured you. Right, and I talked about Proverbs earlier. You weren't on yet when I said that it's like heaping coals of fire on somebody's head. So sometimes I'm not going to pray for that person. Sometimes, remembering Proverbs 25, verse 22 is a good place to start. Okay, I'm going to pray for this person because praying for your enemies is an important thing. And forgiveness is an important thing. So Ashley says forgiveness in a relationship, too, is not bringing up a past wrong and holding it against the person. Learn that and as you're preparing for marriage. Absolutely. So letting go of those things. And sometimes women have a harder time than men. And I think it does have something to do with hormones. But in general, women do have a harder time letting go. So depending on your temperament and your personality, sometimes we internalize those things. It's funny that we were talking to Wendy's group yesterday. There's a book, Feelings Buried Alive Never Die, and I do have it over there. It was written in 1991. Feelings Buried Alive Never Die. So when you don't deal with, my husband's moving furniture and brought some books in, so now I have more books in here. When you don't deal with certain emotions and you try to bury them and internalize them, this is what I was talking about, how when you learn to forgive people and let go of those emotions, you can lose weight. Because literally when you hold and bury those feelings inside, they don't die, they continue to fester and eat away. So dealing with it, dealing with a past hurt or a past relationship issue or whatever, is in confronting it, having that discussion, resolving it, and then letting it go. Because those feelings never die and they never go away until you resolve them and deal with them. Good morning, Danielle. Rex likes the concept of heaping coals on someone's head. It's very biblical, it's just Proverbs. So considering the situation from that other person's point of view that you're trying to forgive. Because again, forgiveness is a decision, and sometimes you have to reassess or address that every single solitary day when there's a big thing in your life that you're trying to forgive. And forgiveness is not saying that what they did was okay. That's really important to understand too. Forgiveness is getting that control back for yourself. Because as a cleric, for me, it's about control. I want to be in control. But forgiveness is not condoning what they have done or saying what they did was okay. It's a decision to go, whatever. That's between you and God, and letting it go and walking it away, right? Let me see. Also, forgiveness, so it doesn't take that person off the hook. They're still responsible before God for what they've done, but you're choosing to turn that justice issue over to God and say, you deal with them. I remember one person said that when she was it was in a divorce situation, and she said, God can punish you much more than I can. I went, whoa, I don't think that's exactly forgiveness, but that's where she was in her process through a very nasty divorce, where she chose to let it go and turn that justice over to God and say, I'm letting God deal with you. I choose to forgive you, and I'm relinquishing that control back to God. Awfully nice of me to relinquish the control back to God, But she said, God can punish you much more than I can. But that's where she was at that point, right? So returning forgiveness can be releasing that control and returning justice abilities to God, right? Let me see, what did I write down? Refusing to transfer exact punishment or revenge. Yeah, we're telling God. So when we don't turn that back over to God, we're telling God that we don't trust him to take care of that situation. Sarah says, really needed this talk. I think we kind of need it every day, right? I know I do. I have to constantly remind myself that, and I have a situation that I'm dealing with right now where that forgiveness is very hard for me, and so I'm learning to let it go. Julie says it's tough when the person you need to forgive has hurt your child, and they don't acknowledge that they have hurt your child, and I'm doing the cleanup so my child doesn't move forward injured. Yeah. We all deal with injuries, and especially it's for a mom and a child, it's again that decision to, and in that situation, because I've been in that situation, where you really do relinquish that to God and say, I trust you as a justice issue to correct this, what has been done to the least of your, to your little one here, that I am trying, because we all are dealing with injuries. I have stories from my childhood that, dealing with that type of thing. I was raped in college, dealing with that type of thing. And it's relinquishing justice to God and saying, okay, this person has hurt my child, God, you know what to do. And I'm turning that over to you, and help me repair the damage that was done to this child. And just loving and loving and loving on that child. And because I do believe children will pick up on that sense of resentment, and I don't know if the person is still in your life right now, but I totally understand that situation, and it is very difficult. It is very difficult. But let God give him the right to take care of the justice issue, and let him take care of matters so that you can focus on what you need to focus on is that child. Pam says, amen. Sometimes I have to ask for help in letting it go. I give things to God over and over and over and again, and some of those scars run really, really deep. And scars are a really good word to use, because when we cut our skin and then it heals, that scar tissue is tougher than the skin that surrounds it. And so there is that surliness, not surliness, there's that sinewy type thing that's within a scar. Paula says, I was harmed as a child, and my father helped me to learn to forgive. And forgiveness was the one thing that helped me to heal. Yeah. And Geza, this is great. It's difficult to forgive a moral evil. It really is. Yeah, it really, really is. So turning that, forgiveness again is a decision. It is not condoning another person's actions. It's taking away their power to hurt you. Because the more you carry that around, the more it hurts you, not them. So turn that justice issue over to God. Make the decision to not allow that person to harm you anymore. Because forgive and forget is not in the Bible. We are not called upon to forget. We're called upon to forgive, not to forget, because forgetting is not prudent. For example, it's a case of a child. You don't, I forgive you, I forget about it, and then you put a child in that situation again with this person? No. So forgiving is a decision, and taking away that person's ability to harm you by forgiving them, turning over that justice issue to God, and moving on with your life. Paula said that it's helped me to heal in every area of your life. Yes, absolutely. I got to go. Oh, sorry, Rosemary. Love you. Love your show. Thanks. Glad you were here. Hey, good morning, Janet. Jesus, I trust in you is my prayer to God every day, says Shoshana. Absolutely. Trust God to take care of these things. All right, so forgiveness is not letting the offense occur again and again and again. So I'm just reading through my notes. So I kind of already talked about that. But we don't have to tolerate, excuse me, nor should we leave ourselves open to any lack of respect that people may show to us. So forgive and move on. The saying should be forgive and protect. Protect yourself and your loved ones from future harms in an appropriate manner. Very well said, Michelle. I agree totally. And again, forgiveness is not the same as reconciling either. Sometimes you want to reconcile with a person. Sometimes you don't. You don't want to have anything to do with them ever again. And that's okay. Like Michelle says, forgive and protect. You're protecting yourself and your children or family members or friends from future harm or future potential harm based on another person's actions. Janet says, hey, out to breakfast with the hubby. Say hi to hubby. Decided to turn in for a minute or two. Hope you've already ordered. All right, so forgiveness is a process too. I talked about that earlier. We wake up every morning and decide. Sometimes those thoughts are sometimes the first thoughts we have in the morning is a person that we need to forgive. Again, take away their ability to harm you and for you to burden yourself with this by choosing to forgive. Geza says, can a person who shows no remorse be forgiven? Absolutely, because forgiveness is on your part. It has nothing to do with whether a person regrets their actions or not. You're choosing to forgive and let God deal with them in his way. It doesn't have anything to do with whether or not they're sorry for what they have done or not. Forgiveness is a personal act that we choose, that we are choosing to say, I choose to erase this from my memory and my life. But again, not forgetting, right? They don't have to be sorry about it at all, because they don't know you're angry. A lot of times they don't even know you're upset with them anyway, you know? And it's also, that is, requiring their remorse is also kind of a control issue, where I am not going to forgive you until you're sorry for what you've done. Well, then now we're both carrying it around. It's a tug of war. And then it's a victim, abuser mentality, where now you're relinquishing that control back over to them, where once you're sorry, then I'll forgive you. Forgiveness isn't about that. Forgiveness is like, I'm choosing to remove you from this. What's the Greek? I can't remember what the Greek is. It is something like removing. I'm not going to look it up right now. It would take me too long. So we forgive every time. It's like that 70 times 7 that we were talking about yesterday, forgiving ourselves 70 times 7. So remorse is not required. Let me see. Forgiving every time. This is the dance that we do with the other person that sets us up to be continually hurt, attacked, or abused. So if you put yourself in a situation where you're requiring their remorse, you're putting yourself in a relationship with them when maybe you shouldn't be. Maybe that should not be requiring their attitude to change. It's our attitude that needs to change, right? Because people continually hurt us throughout our lives. So we can stay stuck in that, we can stay angry in that, or we can choose to just change our attitude about things and move on. And maintain our loving relationship with God. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And trust God to take care of it. Even if they never ask for our forgiveness, it's a choice that we make, right? Forgiveness is more about our attitudes, about life, about God, about our faith, if you want to look at it that way. Even from a Psychology Today point of view, forgiveness ends up being about our attitudes, and that we choose not to internalize this and make it our own. When it's their wrongdoing, we're not going to take it. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, they did something wrong, and so now I'm going to carry this around. Let them carry it around. That's what forgiveness is tossing it back into their lap, right? Right, this is yours. You own it, because I'm not going to carry it for you. You know what I mean? So it has nothing to do with their remorse. Terry says, what if you are the one who needs to be forgiven, but do not think the other person has forgiven you after you have asked? Oh, gosh, it's kind of like when, as a Catholic, going to confession. I go in, I confess my wrongdoing, I release that, I ask for God's forgiveness. Of course, we know God's always going to forgive us. But when we go to another person and ask for forgiveness and they choose not to accept our apology, I think that's on them, because we have done, it's our intent to change. It's our intent. We feel bad. And if they choose to carry that around, we can't control another person's thoughts or actions. It's almost like, well, wait, I'm sorry, you really haven't forgiven me. What else do you want me to do? What else do you require from me for us to repair the damage that I did to this relationship, or that I'm responsible for? Because now it's on them. The damage in the relationship is now back on them if they have chosen not to take the next step in reconciliation. Because again, forgiveness and reconciliation are not the same thing. So I would say that would be back on them. Sarah says, I'm a control freak, so this has helped me see it in a whole new light. Yeah, I'm a control freak too. So from one control freak to another, hopefully I've helped you. Darren says he looked it up. The Greek word is aphesis, from the root thiemi, some of the meanings of which are to send away or let go. That's right. To send it away and to let go. Thank you, Darren. I had looked it up earlier and then I didn't write it down. So yes, forgiveness is send away and to let go. So when you forgive, it's not forgetting, it's removing yourself. as the root of the word. All right, so, we don't always have to tell them that we forgive them, because sometimes that's a control and a power issue. I've thought about this, and I've decided to forgive you. Do you have somebody like that in your life? I'm like, oh, well, thank you. Because that becomes more of a control freak issue, right? Or it's like a power struggle. So you don't necessarily have to tell the other person that you have forgiven them. And that's not required in this whole process. Yeah, okay. And it's not relinquishing power either when you choose to forgive, because some people look at it like, I'm going to carry around this resentment because it gives me power over that other person. It doesn't. That's an illusion. Forgiveness is not weakness. Forgiveness is not relinquishing power. It's sending it away and letting things go. Paula says, only tell them you forgive them if they have asked for forgiveness. Yeah, I suppose that's true. Yeah, because it would be kind of a control thing. You know that thing you did? I forgive you for that. They may not even know it, and they're like, I didn't even know I did anything wrong, And depending on your relationship with that person, it might be, if it's a spouse, they may not, have known they did anything. I don't know. So I think that would be a relationship issue. But yeah, in general, I agree with you, Paula. You don't have to go and tell somebody that you forgive them. That's not part of the process. This is a question somebody asked me about divorce. Due to poor wireless, I paused. Okay. We may forgive too quickly to avoid pain. So sometimes we can just say, oh, I'm just going to forgive you, because we don't want to deal with it. But again, those buried feelings never really die. Paula says, if they're really sorry and would be devastated if you did not. Yeah, I agree. So forgiveness releases pain and can free us from focusing on the other person or other situations. And sometimes people will just do that. Oh, you know what? I don't want to deal with it, so I'm just going to forgive you. And then they put themselves back in the same relationship or back in the same situation where they may be hurt again or something may happen again. So forgiveness being a decision can also be prudent. What's the prudent thing to do? Because you can forgive someone. And again, forgiveness does not mean you condone their actions or acknowledge anything about what they did could be right or wrong. It's releasing that and letting that go, sending it away. Sometimes we may be pressured into false forgiveness before we're ready. And in this kind of goes back to what Terry had asked earlier. If we try to ask somebody's for forgiveness and they're not forgiving us, we may be in that position too, where somebody asks us for forgiveness and we might not be ready for that yet. I want to forgive you, but right now I'm struggling emotionally with a lot of different issues that are tied to this. So I'm working on it. And that may be a situation where, I'm still working on it. I accept the fact that you've apologized, but emotionally I'm still working on it, So, and this is one of the last things that I wrote down, because it's been a half hour yammering about forgiveness. Sometimes it's important for me personally to meditate on the forgiveness aspect, as a reminder of how God forgives me for what I have done wrong. So if I'm struggling with forgiving another person, I try to meditate on the harms that I have done that people have forgiven me for, or it's an opportunity for me to meditate on how important forgiveness really is in the world and why our Lord was on the cross. Matt says, what if your priest acts horribly, assuming same rule applies? At what point do you go to your bishop about him or simply let it go and attend another parish? Well, it depends on the degree of wrongdoing. Because, from a Catholic's point of view, and St. Thomas Aquinas deals a lot with this particular thing in the Summa, where he speaks about and writes specifically about this, about when it's our obligation, when it's our direct superior to go to that person's superior, and that we are obligated to do so depending on the degree of harm. So St. Thomas Aquinas deals with this specifically in the Summa. And so, and especially on the degree of harm that that priest has done at the parish, or a pastor has done, or a police officer has done, or a teacher has done. I mean, it's anybody in a position of authority that we are morally obligated to hold them accountable for those actions. And as a Catholic, especially as a priest, that we are required. Now, that's not saying that anything is going to be done about it, as people with, in the SLAP organization can tell you, that our doing the right thing and going forward and reporting something or dealing with it doesn't mean anything's going to be done about it. So Aquinas is awesome. I know. I'm such a geek. I will sit and read the Summa. I'm a geek. I read encyclopedias. I read the Bible. I just sit and read and absorb. When my husband and I were dating, this is how I knew he was the guy for me. We were sitting there going through, we used to play this dictionary game where we would go through and find a word and say, guess what it means. Well, what's the root? What's the, I can't spell, so it was never a spelling thing, but it was always a dictionary. We'd look up words and improve our vocabulary. So I was kind of geek. So anyway, all right. So those are some thoughts and ideas, and I hope that helps you, because I dealt with a lot of people were sending private messages and emails yesterday about the topic on self-forgiveness, but all the questions were not about questions about self-forgiveness. They were questions about forgiveness in general. So I hope this has helped you. And if you feel that this is something that will help somebody else, please like and share this broadcast. This past week, I have not edited them and uploaded them to YouTube because we've had some really bad connection issues here at the house, and so I haven't been able to upload it. The one I tried to upload on Monday took 7 hours and it never uploaded, so I just kind of gave up on it this week. But knowing that Monday we will be starting the series on temperaments, and those will be uploaded to YouTube, and I will hopefully have the link prepared for that course if anybody wants to look deeper in it. But again, if you felt that this was helpful to you and think somebody else might benefit from it, please make sure that you share this broadcast. And tomorrow I'll probably go back to what I originally had planned for this morning. So thanks so much for joining us this morning. And I'll see if I can finish my cold coffee now and maybe throw some ice cubes in it and swirl it up. Have a very blessed day. And before I forget, prayer requests. Anybody have any specific prayer requests that they want us praying about for today? I want some prayers of thanksgiving. My mom had a bone scan and no cancer. So I didn't even know she was going in for one, but I got an email, or I got a text message from my oldest sister this morning that said that my mom's bone scan was positive. So prayers of thanksgiving for that. Of course, prayers of thanksgiving for me being declared cancer-free. So very happy about that. Tina says thanks. Paula says God bless. Geza, thank you, Colleen. Blessings. Have a good day, says Patricia. Prayers of thanks for my mom, says Geza. I appreciate that. Anybody else have any specific prayer requests that they have going on? I know for Evie, Tina says a deacon friend is in ICU. Ooh, not doing well. Prayers for eternal rest. Sarah, her friend Cara, who got me, who introduced us, there we go, is having her baby this week. Yeah, so prayers for Cara, or Cara, however you pronounce that, C-A-R-A. Paula says Thanksgiving for her godson Joey, who may come home from the hospital today, a preemie. Woo-woo! It's kind of funny because my smallest newborn baby was 10 pounds. That was my smallest child. And now he's my biggest child, so that's kind of funny. So anyway, continue to put those prayer requests below. I know during the day I go back and I read them, and we continue to pray for our community, our growing community. Lori says, thanks. My husband is searching for work that he may find something that's good for him. Yes, absolutely. I hope he's employed now. And I know you're working with Legal Shield, Lori, so I'm sure that's helping as well. Patricia says, still financial help. Prayers for her nephew. Pam says Evie will begin her travel from Hawaii to Maryland on Saturday. She's the one that I said that's looking for that organ transplant. So prayers for safe travels, thanking God for the awesome caseworkers who are working together to get her, Evie, where she needs to be. Shoshana says, thank you for being you. I love the morning videos. Thank you, Shoshana. I appreciate it. Terry says, still praying for my friend Sue, who's still fighting with a blockage in her liver. Goodness gracious, more prayers for Terry's friend Sue. A hedge of protection around her, prayers for health and healing. You kind of need your liver. The liver is kind of important. I know I have had a lot of problems with my liver, especially as the cancer cells are dying and being filtered out through my liver. I have to take really good care of my liver. So All right, well, please continue to put those prayer requests below as the day goes on. Please pray for me. I have a lot of work that needs to be done. David DeBay, good morning, my dear friend. You got your mom at chemo right now. So prayers for David's mother, who's undergoing, I think this is her first round of chemo right now. Jocelyn says pray for the homeschooling situation in Alberta, Canada. Yeah, absolutely. I have friends in Germany, so they're dealing with their homeschooling situations there. So prayers for Jocelyn in the homeschooling situation in Alberta, and for all who are, all who need our prayers for today that aren't even asking for them, and for those who are on their deathbed today, that they may know peace and joy. So thanks so much for joining us. Please continue prayers. David said yes, first for this time around. Yeah, because this is her second round. Didn't she have cancer like 5 years ago, or was cancer free like 5 years ago? So yeah, absolutely. Continued prayers for that. Please continued prayers for me, and we will see you tomorrow morning. God bless everybody. Thanks for joining us, and have an amazing day, and go forgive somebody. All right. God bless. Love y'all. See you soon. Bye.